Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gents. If you don't know, my name is Tyler. This is TJR Auto, and you might be wondering what's under the tarp. Well, it's something that I'm happy I bought, but I'm also kind of sad that I bought. So, first things first, I have half of a GTO bumper, so that's good.
Beautiful.
We have a straight black fender, so that's cool. It's got no damage, and it's still got the bumper clips on it, so that's nice. It's useful because mine does not have those. Take good care of that. Now for something I've been waiting for a while that I really didn't want to buy, but I still bought it. I can't afford 2 GTOs, so I bought half of a GTO. Yeah, so. Well, I have my beautiful co-host Audrey here with me, and she's admiring the thing that I bought. So as you guys can see, I mean, you just did see it, but now you see it closer. I have an entire dashboard, gauge cluster, HVAC, and stock radio, as well as a steering wheel, which does have a little tear in it, but mine has a nicer, the wheel on my car is actually nicer. Clean airbag and whatnot. And as far as I can tell, the dash doesn't have any cracks in it, but I'm sure after being transported and whatnot and all the broken glass, it's probably gonna be scratched up a little bit, which is fine. Oh, actually it's got this trim piece is beat right there, but yeah, that actually wasn't even what I bought this for. So this came off of a black 04. It was an automatic LS1 car, and this is really what I was after, was this entire front end, as well as a straight subframe. And another bonus, I got all the suspension, a spare steering rack, motor mounts, and I mean everything you see basically. Full brake setup, which is cool. Straight crash bar, but the most beautiful thing, pin fucking straight frame rails. So I didn't want to buy this yet, but the deal popped up. It was too good to be true, and here we are later. I mean, at some point I'll probably cover how much I paid for this, but I'm not gonna state that at this moment. But yeah, all I'm really after with this is to use this front half to splice onto Gemma, which is in the garage still with the broken trans. Basically just want to splice on the front frame rails that are straight and put the straight K-member under it, so my car will actually be straight. And then I have the fender, which will go on basically to confirm that everything is straight, and obviously I need a straight fender for when the car is straight. And this bumper, I'm basically just going to be cutting up this section right here to be gluing onto my other black bumper, which is a lot cleaner than this one because it's all one piece. It's just missing the Pontiac emblem. So all in all, big boy purchase. It was kind of a pain in the ass to get dropped off in the driveway and get dragged back here, but we made it work. So shout out to my guy Eric, super cool parts guy. He does not do a lot of GTOs because he hates these cars, and I don't blame him, but just kind of weird seeing everything here, how thin shit really is. Like, your frame rail is thin, but we got a straight car, boys. Well, half of a straight car. So what do you think of this purchase? Oh, look at that. What do you think about that?
I thought that was cool.
As gently as possible, I tried to get as much glass out as I could. I also vacuumed up basically everything to try to get as much glass out of the area as possible. You can actually see there is some scratches on the dashboard. That's probably from me trying to pull the glass out. I don't know if this piece is separate from this piece, but I mean, either way, they still are really good pieces as long as I can get them out with all of their tabs still in contact, which is the goal. So it is supposed to rain tonight, so basically I just want to get all of the like nice interior pieces out. So obviously the entire dash, I'll probably leave the steering wheel on, but maybe take like the stalks off of the trimmer, some shit, whatever, airbag, just anything I can basically get off that could get ruined with rain. And then the rest of this stuff, this is basically all going to be mine, at least for a while that I can think of. Like, I need to have a spare one of these because it's one of these relays, I forget which one. One of them actually burned up in my axe, from From the crash of the previous owner, one of these relays burned up for the high-speed fan. It also is nice having all of these pigtails and harnesses together for, you know, the fog lights, the windshield wiper pump motor thingy, which is tucked down there, which my car hasn't had since the accident, and just a bunch of stupid shit. It's always nice having, you know, extras, especially from a legitimate car. So another beautiful thing about this too, with all of these pieces still in contact, you know, frame rail wise and stuff, I can take all the measurements I need basically from firewall forwards, which is all I was concerned about with my yellow car, and I'll be able to take all the measurements in the world that I need so I can make sure that the car can go back together straight. So yeah, let's just keep moving with some teardown. Let's get after that dash. Dash is out. I'm lazy, so instead of pulling the steering wheel, because I couldn't even get the airbag off, ironically enough, I've done an airbag before in these cars, but I just popped this one side here. I probably will repair that and basically touch up as much as I can, so this will be a savable dash. But everything else on it's mint. Any other little clips that might have fallen off, I have in the car. I have all the hardware for it, and basically every single piece of trim that needs to go with it to be complete. So good deal. This alone almost pays off what I paid for that front clip. Just think about that. It's kind of funny I have you guys inside of where the dash is supposed to be on this front clip, but if your girlfriend or significant other is into these body scrubs, and I'm not even gonna lie, they're very nice. You know, they exfoliate very well, and if you're like me and you don't wear gloves and you get a lot of shit all over your hands, any of that hard grime that gets stuck inside like your skin, you know, kind of gets stuck in the cracks, body scrubs and shit like this, they work really well to get it out. But what they work best for is hardware containers. So all of these screws, and there's more than this that have fallen out, but all these screws that I've pulled from basically any of these interior pieces, they're going right in here, and I'm labeling it GTO interior shit. So when the time comes, if I do end up selling a lot of this stuff, or if I need anything for my car, I go exactly to my GTO parts bin. All right, so this is basically as far as I could get with the GTO tonight. As you can see, I ripped out as much shit as I would say is like worth money or usable or like, you know, basically worthwhile. I definitely do want to rip out like the center HVAC box, blower motor. I definitely will be taking more, but I know that this stuff won't necessarily get hurt from sitting outside for a day or so. I am pretty bummed. I tried to pull out this entire BCM harness that was ran along the dash, but I cannot figure out for the life of me how to split it through the firewall, because when that runs up through here, it goes into this fuse block. So I think what I'm going to do is just basically wrap the car up for tonight, tuck all that stuff back into here, and try to wrap that up extra nicely, just so none of this gets like super water damage. I don't think it's supposed to like storm, but still, I don't like leaving this kind of shit outside exposed. But I will be rewrapping it up with the tarp. I'll probably move the body of the car up there a little bit more, since now it's a lot lighter and stripped. But I'll show you my parts plethora. Look at that pretty little girl. So this is how Gemma sits, and so we got 170 something thousand mile automatic gauge cluster, which is pretty cool, because since I have the VZ cluster mod, if I really wanted to, I could plug it in and, you know, make it to a manual cluster and sell it as a manual, or yada yada yada, do a bunch of cool stuff. Got a bunch of the HVAC pipes. These suede panels were already snapped when I got them, both sides were. This wraps around under the dash, so I think I will be keeping these. I can definitely glue that back together and maybe try wrapping it with some different fabric. Oh god, almost lost the cluster, not good. In here I have all of the electronics, so the little HVAC components, key ring, switches. I have the stock radio in there, and I believe this is like the immobilizer chip thing that sits up on the dashboard in between the cowl vents. So that's good stuff. And then here is basically just all the interior trim pieces that I could get off. So basically anything I could pull. Passenger side airbag, glove box, and then this piece apparently is known for coming off because these taps break. So yeah, and it has a little light bulb that sticks out of it. And then I got this bracket thingy that came off under the dash, but I'd say not bad for, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours of me never doing this before and kind of just pulling out any bolt that I see and just try to get out anything that looks like it could be worth something, or even if it's not worth something to me, it's worth something to somebody else, you know? So I definitely will be taking the steering wheel and airbag off at some point down the line. I'll probably, you know, save the steering shaft. I'm going to strip this thing for all it's got, but again, I'll probably wrap up tonight. You know, I'll have to label all my containers and shit, and yeah, get her all packed up. So it's another day, another couple parts getting ripped off the front clip. So I think it is supposed to rain very soon, and basically it's supposed to just keep raining on and off for the next couple days. So I'm kind of screwed with getting any further progress with this. I would have liked to have taken more shit off this, but I was focused on getting the transmission done, which thankfully is good. But since now the car is basically good as far as I can tell, the next thing up on the list really is going to be doing the front frame rails and making her pretty and getting her straight. So I think I'm just going to start jamming on getting as much shit ripped off this thing as I can before it starts torrential downpouring. I don't know if I showed last, but I got the cowl pieces off, I got the wiper blades off. I started listing stuff for sale just to try to recoup some money for stuff I don't need, but I do have all the interior stuff stored inside. I have all the hardware saved, and I really wouldn't mind getting the wiring harness off this front end, you know, the fuse block, the whole BCM harness. If I can get all that off, don't know if that's gonna be today or not, that would make me a happy camper. But let's start ripping into it. All right, I haven't recorded much since it's literally about to downpour, but got this doohickey in here. Pulled the fender and the bumper off. These weren't bolted on, but I had them resting on here just to save some space. Got this big line out, but the guy who sold me this, he cut that, which is fine because mine's fine. I believe this is cruise control, so got that with the whole throttle cable. That's good. I was able to get the entire harness pulled out of the front end, but I just cannot figure out for the life of me how to remove it through the firewall, because it can't go that way and the inside cannot come out this way. All the plugs are way too big. So I'm gonna have to look up and see how the hell you're supposed to disconnect these. I was hoping there was like a main plug, but there isn't. Oh my God. All right, that's one. Whew. It's honestly kind of nice pulling shit apart that you don't care about in some cases, because you can do whatever the fuck you want, you know? Oh, no, screwed the pooch. Look at that, almost a bare front end. It's crazy to think that I'm gonna have to do all the same shit basically on my GTO, and then put on whatever parts are better to get her nice. All right, so got those brackets off. I found these sitting somewhere, so we'll keep those. I did get the ABS pump out, and then over here I took the master off as well, so added them to my parts box for the day. As you just saw, I just pulled these 2 random brackets off. I'm basically going to take anything that I can off of this car, just because. All right, gang, so I cut out this carpet because it was actually starting to develop some white mold in this area, so I just cut this out, threw it in the can. But I did get the BCM harness out. Now I looked it up to see if there was any way that, you know, you can do it where I was missing, keeping everything in one piece. Basically everybody was saying either you cut the harness or you cut the car. So obviously I cut the car. Look how beautiful she is. She'll look even better though straight. So here's the entire BCM harness, and I will lay it out so you see how big it is. All right, so roughly this is kind of the shape that this harness takes in the car. This is by the driver footwell. So you can picture a driver footwell. This all runs, it's all twirled around the dashboard. This is, I think, some of this is HVAC stuff. The BCM is right at the firewall, and this rubber grommet marks where the harness goes through the firewall. So that's passenger footwell, driver footwell, dashboard area. This is all driver side strut tower. So that actually wraps around the tower. Here's the fuse block that I didn't really take my time with. I cut one of the ears off just to get the thing out. But again, I'm really only interested in this thing for the fuses and the relays, and go figure I beat up all the relays, but we'll be all right. So I think this is ABS or some shit, and then this wraps around the front, the rad support. That's driver side. Passenger side, you can see here is the radiator cooling fan plugs, you know, wiring harness for headlights and shit. So it's actually pretty crazy how big this thing is when you lay it out. But since this is all out, we're down to very, very few things left on the half cut. So, are those French fries? Bro, that's a fucking French fries. How the fuck did I not even notice that when I cut the carpet out? You know what? I'm not worried about it. You can just see how bare this thing really is. So, brake lines, that's gonna be another day. Hood latch will be another day. This will be another day. Same with like the brake booster and whatnot, but this thing's basically torn down as far as I need it to be. It wouldn't hurt to pull the HVAC box out and shit, but again, not worrying about that today. I got bigger shit I gotta take care of. So, and then one of these days, I gotta pull the steering wheel off, which gave me a problem last time, but maybe if I do it on a clean mind, clean slate, I won't break it coming off, because I want to take that wheel and customize it and give it a shot. But don't know if I've talked about the subframe at all. Supposedly these struts were about a year or two old, I want to say. They really don't have any miles on them. I'm not sure about the brake situation, but mine are fresh on my car, so definitely keeping my brakes. I'll probably use these struts and springs. Even these bushings up top look way better than mine do. I think stock GTO motor mounts are fluid filled, so that one's toasted. Mine are probably toasted, but depending how mine look, I'll order a new set or I'll order some polys. The steering rack, I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. I think mine's in good shape, but I'll find out when, you know, when I pull mine off the car. I think mine is a lot cleaner, but this does have nicer boots on it. So maybe I'll swap boots and tie rods or something. Don't really know. These ball joints actually look like shit. So maybe I'll keep mine because I think mine are cleaner, but we'll see. And then obviously the subframe itself needs a really deep cleaning, maybe a nice paint job. Same with like the sway bar and shit. But basically, you know, everything is here that I need. Really just interested in the frame rails, potentially the wheel tub on this side, and the entire subframe and a couple other pieces. But so sad to cut up a GTO, but I didn't cut it in half, so there's not really much I can do. But just crazy seeing like how straight the lower rad support is supposed to be. I think this car had a little bit of front end damage, or it could just be from when the guy was giving it to me, when he loaded it or when we unloaded it, because we weren't the nicest with it. But like you can see, this is bent a little bit here, and just stupid little damage like that, which obviously I can just take care of with a set of pliers and some paint. But yeah, she's getting there, so that's good.